And we should be live. Hello, hello. Hello. Yeah, Tara, you must have missed the message where I said I was cleaning my glasses. It's kind of hard to read with dirty glasses. And my glasses get dirty. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's start from the top here. Tara. Tara was here a couple hours ago. Elena, I don't know if she's still here. Oh, let's see here. Element, hello. Cats, hello. I was gonna say Element. Smoky Mountain Reeds, hello. Tim Willis, hello. Evil Satyr, hello. Caliste, hello. Squirrel, you have headaches? I have a headaches. Yeah, remember we were talking about everybody like names their subscribers, and I can never. I think Squirrel Squad is appropriate. Today has been a whirlwind for crap in my area. The temperature was negative 12 this morning. Pipes burst in every place you can think of, except for our house. Knock on wood. I don't know why I just said that out loud. I don't want to curse us, but hopefully everybody else is not freezing. Oh no. Migraine for a week and now you're going to listen to my voice? So sorry. Maybe my voice only gives myself headaches. You know how when you like, I imagine that's a migraine. When you can't even talk because it's just the sound of your own voice is hurting your head. How do I know you're the real Duchess? Because I don't know how long I can listen, but I'll stick it out. I went on an adventure trying to look for stories, and I found 2 sets of 20, but the first one of the first set was not even scary. So I started reading the second story of the first set, but I didn't. I like to be surprised too when we're reading in a good way. I'm always disappointed when it's not good, though. Light hurts, staying down in the dark doesn't help. Oh no. Hello, Xena. Warrior princess. Show us ID. Psh. I mean, everyone refers to you as the queen. Yeah, I don't know. Squirrel Squad is more appropriate because it's usually an intimate group of people who come here and listen and read together. So 20 Fahrenheit. Hey, Schmeister. Before you black out, yeah, what is it like 2 a.m. in that region of the world? Hey, damn, Gypsy. I know you're freezing, Michigander. Whew. It is cold here today. It was colder. It was actually colder yesterday, I think. I like Squirrel Squad too. I can already see the jackets. Intimate. No, 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 no. Frozen Pipe Squad here. Yeah, my husband's a plumber, so you know how his day went. He just got back home. Whew. No, no, no. The only royalty here is the person reading. So pipe down, self proclaimed queen. I'm the ruler of this here area. Around 80 today. Oh, I'm so jealous of you right now. The only thing is like, if you live somewhere where it's warm all year, aren't your bugs enormous? Ours die because it's too cold. Or some of them will like hibernate, like bees will hibernate here. And then as soon as it's warm outside, they'll come out. But I think it prevents them from, I don't know if it prevents them from, I don't know. I slept about 3 hours last night because we had a situation. So I needed this distraction. So you guys are entertaining me as much as I'm entertaining you. A windy 80 degrees. I'm like 37% happy for you, Element. I don't know. I think she was here earlier, but I don't see her now. Or was she here? Did I say hello to her? I think I did. Listen, I'm going to forget what I said as soon as I said it, so a lot of static in the air. Got shocked by everything. Yeah, it's really cold here. Whew. Like, you can let your car warm up for like 20 minutes, get in it, it's nice and toasty, go to the store, come back outside in literally 5 minutes, and it's like you didn't even let your car warm up at all. It's so cold. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of wearing 2 pairs of pants at the same time, which is kind of essential to keeping your skin looking like regular skin, because the temperatures here just go right through your clothes, especially if you're somebody who works outside a lot like my husband does, and that's, whew, I don't know how he does it. Let's give everybody a minute to gather here. JRG. Oh, I don't think I recognize your... I'm thinking I recognize the person, but you changed your handle as per my suggestion to not use your real name. Love your channel, okay. So hopefully you're someone who, I know what your name is, but you changed it because you shouldn't use your name as your handle for YouTube so that people can just look you up and stalk you in real life. Okay. We had that little PSA during the last live stream. Okay. It's going to give everybody, I'm going to start at like quarter after, just give people a minute to come. And did you see the lunar eclipse last night? No, we had a kind of a situation here that was completely distracting, so I missed it, but I saw a few pictures. Ooh. Yeah, I heard it too. Smoky Mountain Reeds. This is 100% my real name. All right, let's look him up and see if he's got a record, everybody. Are you on any lists anywhere? I'll find out. Oh, I don't have any special skills. I just use Google very, very well. Okay. I think it's fair enough to start. I think everybody that's here, 5 murders every state. Boom, roasted. You got to see the Greta movie trailer. Greta movie trailer? What is it about? This is just an alias, and if you Google my name, it is all me. Interpol. What's the Greta movie about? I probably know, but I just forgot. Oh, you'll find out in a minute, Element. First, we're going to read about how to make natural home remedies from basic things you can find in your front yard. And then we're going to watch a tutorial about how you can make a bird feeder with a pine cone and some peanut butter. And you know that's not true. It's dripping with sarcasm. Somebody left a comment on one of my serial killer Saturday, Mikhail. That seems to get the most negative mixed comments. And some guy was like, or no, it was a lady that said, because I said this superstar, you know, with sarcasm. And then the lady said, I wouldn't call him a superstar. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Gling, hey. Were you on someone else's live chat? Oh no, that was Saturday, and the serial killer, or the video from Saturday, wasn't it? I'm so tired, I'm blending days together. You can make a torch out of a pine cone. That's fabulous. You can make a tent out of blankets. All right, 9:13. I think everybody that's here is going to be here. But the lady, anyways. If I seem scatterbrained, it's because I am. I slept about 3 hours last night because we had a little bit of an emergency situation last night that's all calm now, but it was terrifying. And that's all I can really say. But yeah, maybe that lady was in the wrong place. No. I learned how to make a molecular separation hydrogen cell. That's awesome. You should make a video on that. For real. I'm going to start sharing some of my art on my other channel, and then I'll like post some previews of those videos in my community chat if anybody wants to see those. But I won't post them on this channel because I don't think anybody wants to see that here. I'm going to watch a tutorial on ha, and then you stop. Okay, let's get on with stories. So the first set of 20 I don't even know what these were, but it's 2 different sets of 20. I know the second one is 20 scary stories that are true, and then these ones are something else. I don't know. So if I seem scatterbrained, it's because I am. But does it explode? Arson. All right, here's the first story. We'll gauge them as we go. We should rate these. I think it'll make it more fun. 1 means it sucked. 5 means it was scary. Sound like a good idea? I like that idea. All right, let's go. First of like 40 stories. I don't even know. So when I was a kid, a poacher must have thought I was a deer or something and shot around at me. It impacted a tree above my head. I immediately fired 3 shots as fast as I could. Not at the shooter, but in the air. In my hunting group, immediate 3 shots means help. My dad and our hunting club immediately came out to find out what the fuck happened by honking the horns of their trucks, letting me know they were coming. I basically laid on the ground until I could tell they were near the dirt road, told them what happened, and guessed it was probably a road poacher trying to get a deer as it came from the same road. They didn't see him. It was private property, and we were always very aware of who was at what location and who was hunting where. Nobody was supposed to be in that part of where I was at. Scared the shit out of me. It was the mid-90s, and it's the reason why I don't like hunting on public property. And I don't know the people out there. Okay, boo. Boo. That gets a 1. That's rated a 1. Boo. Boo. We're going to watch a tutorial on making a tampon into a pipe bomb. Let's just not confuse them. 1.2, eh? 0. Lame. Next! It's like 3 sentences, so, or 2 sentences. When I went hunting with my dad one time, we saw a homeless guy looking like a guy carrying what looked like a torn cloth and a screwdriver in one of the trail cams. This guy was pretty deep into the woods, and it was no one we knew, and we were terrified to go back out there. I mean, honestly, it's shorter, and it's still better than the last story. Still, like, that's a 1.2, just because it was so short. I give it a 2 just because I got shot at before. That's terrifying. I got shot at too, but still a 1. Okay, next. I walked up on a meth lab, not sure if that's the right term, while scouting for a hunting spot. I noped the hell out of there immediately. I had never encountered such a thing before, and in hindsight, the smell should have been a dead giveaway. It wasn't until I was standing there looking at what looked like a bunch of garbage under camo tarps and such that I realized what I was looking at. Okay, I'm no expert, so I honestly wouldn't know, but I just think it'd be pretty obvious out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of chemicals and people standing together doing like assembly line stuff that it would be a meth lab, right? Was Walter White there? That's still like a, I don't know, 1.5. Meh. All right, here's the next one. I'm not a hunter, but I do a lot of hiking and mountain biking in the woods. Nothing has ever made me want to go back. But there has been some weird shit. First, there's just a lot of weird stuff in the woods. Teepees, altars, lean-tos, shrines, etc. Some of it's pretty creepy, but I think most of it's just built by bored people who are trying to make something creepy, so that makes it a bit less scary. Among the strangest of these things that I've seen are a large clearing of trees, with all but one entrance blocked off by webs of red strings and a giant stone pentagram stretched across the clearing, 30 feet diameter. A wooden tunnel leading to a small room containing defaced religious icons, Buddha statues, crucifixes, Stars of David, etc., and dozens, if not hundreds, of creepy Polaroid pictures hanging from the ceilings. Ones I remember include a close-up face shot of a girl sleeping, a dude brushing his teeth taken from outside of the window, and a photo booth strip of two girls who one of their faces were crossed out and "I'm glad you're dead" written with one word on each picture, and a number of weird little shrines with creepy scriptures printed or scrawled into them. But what's a lot scary to me is stuff that isn't meant to be creepy, like the aforementioned things hopefully are. Once I heard a distant, panicked scream, followed by a crashing, thudding sound. I couldn't tell from which direction it came, and I didn't hear anything else, so I have no idea what it was. I think the creepiest thing I've experienced was one time while walking home from school through the woods. I heard people talking in the distance. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they seemed to be arguing. They were quiet for a minute, and then I heard them again, really close now. The forest was really dense, so they would almost need to be 15 to 20 feet away. I couldn't see them or pinpoint exactly where they were, but here's what I could hear them say. Guy 1, "It's fucked up you guys always make me." Guy 2, in a hushed voice, "Shh, someone's coming." Guy 1, "Shit." Guy 3, from a bit further to my left than the other guys, who sounded to be mostly right in front of me, "Hurry." Rustling noises. Guy 1, "Fuck." Guy 2, "Shh." I came around a corner and expected to see them, but I couldn't see anyone. I kept walking, cautious and trying to be aware of my surroundings. About 10 feet past the corner, I saw something to the left of the trail, close to where the voices were coming from, that caught my eye. It was a bunch of stuff wrapped up in a big tarp. It wasn't completely wrapped up, and you could kind of see into it. And all I could see was something glass, and I wanted to see what it was. I scanned the forest behind the tarp to make sure nobody was watching, and then stepped toward it. Suddenly, one of them says, "Keep walking," very calmly. I looked back into the forest, but still couldn't see anyone. They said, "Go," still calm. I looked for another second, still unable to see a soul, and then turned and kept walking like nothing happened. I don't know what was going on, but the whole thing gave me the creepiest vibes I've ever gotten. I mean, it's better than the other stories, but it's still like, wah, wah, wah. It was a lot of buildup for not a lot of like, eh, hold on, Buddha statues? God, I read all that and that's all we got out of that? I'm so sorry, everyone. Yeah, it gets a 2 for the length of the story. 1. Did that scare anyone? Didn't you think something else was going to happen? Sorry if you could hear me drinking. I just realized the microphone is right by my throat. Yeah. Boo. A 6? Tara, you rated that story a 6? If you're just tuning in, everyone, we're rating these crappy stories that might not be crappy, but I didn't think it was very... Dude's talking ruined it. I mean, what the hell? It was like something almost happened. There was a lot of buildup to something almost happening. Boo. I want us to read something that's like, what the fuck? We haven't gotten there yet, so let's next one. Should I read it with an accent? Will it make it more entertaining? Or does it suck either way? Let's try one. It's short. Camping alone in the middle of Missouri the night before turkey hunting. The place I found was a fairly well-used campsite, but no one was there. I can't do it. It's just a terrible, terrible accent. About to go to sleep when I hear a truck. Let me start over. Camping alone in the middle of Missouri the night before turkey hunting. The place I found was a fairly well-used campsite, but no one was there. About to go to sleep when I hear a truck come up. I find a reason to come out to use the restroom so I can get a look and maybe even ask for some good places to spot turkey. It's a dude and his girlfriend drinking beers and going for a ride. They're super nice, but they mentioned after our chat and before leaving, watch yourself out here. Lots of meth heads, and they won't stop for birdshot. Want a slug? I probably have a few in my toolkit. I did not sleep at all that night. And that's the end of that story. That's not a story. That's like, I walked into the grocery store, I bought milk, and then I paid for it. That's scarier. Did you know that milk has traces of blood and pus in it? That's scarier. Just a second here. Sorry, my friend's daughter just went to the. We've had a not just our family, but my friend's family too has had quite the week. She just sent me a message telling me what's going on with her, so I'm very sorry about that, you guys. So, hey, cats. All right, Tara. Creeperoni is let's be respectful. She is a sweetheart, and I will protect her because she is a darling little individual. The thing is, such as with all these stories, everyone survives to tell the tales, so they're all. It was super creepy, but well, actually, did you watch Saturday's video of the survivors? Yeah, they lived to tell their tales, and they were all bad. I hope you guys all watched Saturday's video. When I started reading those stories, each one was like, I can't believe they're alive. Like, I don't know how each one of those people survived their story. It's insane. Creeperoni. Okay. All right, on with the stories. Oh, and if you're just joining us, we're rating these stories. I say number 1 is crap, and number 5 is it was really good. You know, and if you think it's worse than a 1, then you just go ahead and put a 0 in front of it. Some of these probably could be in minus whatever. All right, here's the next one. I was being watched in the woods. They spelled on the woods, by the way. I don't have a good feeling about this one. It's not very long, and now I have hiccups, so you're welcome. I was being watched on the woods. It was the strangest feeling. I imagine the strangest feeling was because they were being watched on the woods, which I'm not sure, like, was he standing on the trees in the woods? Do they have multiple legs and arms where you could stand on the woods? I don't know. Anyway, it was the strangest feeling. I got paranoid enough that I began walking all the way to where I knew a park warden was parked. After about 100 meters, I turn around to make sure I wasn't being followed, and I see 3 bears smacking my stuff around. Actually, that is kind of scary. One bear was standing up in the middle of the access road staring right at me. Oh, shit, that's a 5. I've always heard that if you see a bear, like if you're at a point where you and a bear make eye contact, you are dead. They run so fast you can't outrun them. Holy shit, that one unexpectedly scared the crap out of me. Oh no, I'm not very good at that. Is it quiet now? It's not so quiet now, is it? Sometimes I'm just quiet while I'm reading some of the chat, but I did just explain to you that we had a family emergency and my friend had a family emergency and that she was sending me a message that I was responding to. So if it's quiet for a second, that's what's going on. And I really needed this tonight for a nice distraction because there's only so much people can no, I'm explaining it because I must not have said it loud enough because I also slept about 3.5 hours. Um and at this point I'm starting to feel kind of um did you hear the tape of the guy and his girlfriend who were killed by a bear? Did I hear it? I didn't hear one. I saw 2 people on one of those faces of death thing that my brother was obsessed with that I hope they don't still like rent out or sell or anywhere, but there was a couple where it said don't feed the bears, and then it cuts to the video cameras on the side and the bears walking away with the dude's hand in its mouth. I don't want to hear it. No. Best sound to describe a feeling ever. Huh? Came face to face with a brown bear. You're lucky to be here then, Abel Sater. Oh. Well, when I did come face to face with a cougar that was crossing the road heading into campground full of kids and families camping. Oh, yikes. And also, let's not get easily offended in the chat, everyone. Everyone's here to be okay. We get it. The tape is a fake, but it's kind of hard, like, for people to know that. If you know, if you guys know what she's talking about, she's trying to say that the tape that the supposed tape that's an audio tape is a fake tape. Most of the time they are. So, yeah, I don't know why there would be any kind of grizzly man. Okay, let's go on with the next story. Maybe there'll be another sort of maybe there's a build up to this whole thing here. Next one. 1 means it sucks. 5 means it was good. Went on a camping trip maybe 10 years ago, and in the middle of the night we heard this incredibly loud smack way out on the water. Water carries sound very well, so it woke us all right the fuck up. My first thought was some drunk, deranged motherfucker with a gun was shooting out over the lake, and the sound was a bullet skimming off the surface. Turns out it was a beaver that smacked the shit out of the water before diving under. It happened again in the early morning, and we laughed it off. But the notion of being out in the middle of nowhere with some homicidal prick taking pot shots at you creeped me out pretty good. 1, you were scared of a beaver. Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. Audio wasn't released, but it exists. I'm sure like if you go digging deep enough, you probably would find audio. Um we're rating these stories because I'm not responsible for writing these, but I always feel responsible. So when they suck, I'm just as disappointed as you guys, if not more, because I feel like I need to deliver some content, you know what I mean? The beaver gets a -1. Terrible. Oh, I'm clapping if you can't hear that one. Wow. All right. Good job. -5. Wow, that's a strong stance. Oh, okay. Next one. Sorry, if you hear me typing, it's because I'm typing back and forth to two different situations. And thank you for joining me tonight because I really needed a distraction. Um, there's only so much stress that your body can continue to respond to, I think, at some point, and you have to find a way to distract yourself. You know what I mean? Okay. This one is literally one sentence. I didn't see it, but hearing my dad say, once we're safely in the car, a wild dog was stalking us that whole time. Made me a little more than uncomfortable. Boo! Boo! I mean, you could have described the walk to the car. I mean, wow. Wah, wah. -10. -1,000. You know what's funny is that's my real laugh too. I either usually people say my laugh makes other people laugh. A wild dog. I know, just don't even submit that. Listen, future writing submitters, if it's a sentence long, do not fucking waste everyone's time. Sit back down and get some more details for the love of God. No, that is not a story. That is not a story. Life score. Oh my God. I mean, I could describe going to the bathroom with scarier detail than that. I think I might write a story about that. I won't. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of funky, so maybe I will. All right. Here's one that's at least several sentences long. Okay. Let's see. Let's dive in, shall we? All right. I spend a lot of time in the backcountry in the wintertime. It's usually just me and a friend. Most trails we do are popular in the summer and totally dead once it starts to snow. Winter, 2014. We've hiked about 2 miles in and see this small black backpack in the middle of the trail. We hadn't seen any other cars at the trailhead or any other people around, but this backpack hadn't been there long because there wasn't any snow on it, and it had snowed the night before. It was a very odd sight. We figured it was just if it was still on the trail, when we looped around, we picked it up. We'd pick it up. So about 4 miles in, and my friend and I are chatting away when I notice a large figure flailing in some trees up ahead. We go quiet and can hear this man rambling while he's pacing. At this point, we're pretty freaked out and decide to turn around when we hear, "Oh, hi there." And this guy starts walking toward us. Then out pops another guy with a very pricey looking camera. It turns out this flailing guy was actually a rapper, and they were filming a music video for one of his new songs out in the forest. They had parked before the trailhead, so we didn't notice the car. They ended up being super friendly, gave us a card, figured it was just their backpack we had seen on the trail a few miles before. We said our goodbyes and walked out. But hot damn, I was sure we were about to be killed in the woods. Oh my God, you assholes. Boo! Disappointing. Boo. What a setup for a just. I feel like I got punked. Boo. Scary bathroom story. Man wakes up in the middle of the night, take a dump, went to the hospital with a water snake attached to his ass. Ew. Have you ever seen the movie Hereditary yet? I haven't, but it's on my list. Just a negative one? That one was terrible. Lamo-rama. I know it. Oh, I know the next set of stories is scary, so we'll get this out of our system here. We're on it. We're building up, so this is entertaining us before we get to the actual scary stories. All right, didn't happen while hunting, but when I was 12, I was looking for bottles in a creek on a dense forested hillside. 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 Blah, blah. Anyways, hear heavy footsteps behind me. Footsteps behind me. Oh my God. They're slow and sound heavier than a human or even a buck. I almost get paralyzed when I turn around and see two holes on a rough, leathery bump. A few seconds and a heart attack later, I realized it was just the neighbor's cow that got out, and its nose was a few inches from my face. Oh, dear God. Oh, boo! 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 You know, these people that write shit stories should be banned from writing any more stories from anywhere. I mean, you didn't even try to write a story. That's not even worth telling other people about. This is like, oh, this funny thing happened. Ah ha ha ha. Mm. Where's Ashton Kutcher? At least they described the backpack. Hey, Paul. Oh, you've been trying to watch Hereditary too? Yeah. I don't know. We've had a lot of scary stuff happen in real life here, so I don't know if I want to mind fuck myself with that movie because I've heard that that's what it is. And lately I've been gravitating more towards comedies as far as entertainment purposes go. So sorry, sir, you've been banned from the internets. Please never try again. Yeah, no doubt. Oh my goodness. All right. All right. I've got scary stories coming up after this, but these are almost over. So you guys tell me what this means. Not a hunter, but a herper? What the fuck is that? Anyways, it says I was looking for amphibians and reptiles with a few classmates at a local park during a herpetology class last summer. Okay, I guess I got it now. When we came across two little wooden teepees and a card table covered in animal bones, it looked like we walked right into the Blair Witch Project. Each of the structures had little altars that contained more bones in jars, plants, and other weird little trinkets. We got out of there fast and told the volunteer coordinator we were working with. We found out a little while later that apparently some homeschooled kids nearby like to play in the woods, and they had most likely collected the things we saw. I understand making forts in the woods, but the structures these kids were making were freaky as fuck. Okay, so I'm picturing that. Homeschooled kids? What are they teaching them? What school's teaching that? Cass is 175 and so am I. Rate it. Rate it. Oh, I guess it wasn't a total boo. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Nightmare Files. Nightmare File. I haven't slept a lot last night, and so this day has been a tornado whirlwind, and I'm a little loopy. Had some freaky stuff happen to me. My lips are super dry, and so I've noticed that, like, I don't have small lips, but my bottom lip is bigger than my top lip, and sometimes, like, my teeth will hit my lip, and then I'm pronouncing something, and I have to repronounce it, like, a bunch of times. Does that happen to anybody else? Anyway. My experiences beat these crummy stories all to hell. Cool, send them to my email. Great. Nightmare Files, we're rating these from 1 is crap, 5 is good. And that's just this first set of 20. We're on 13 or 14 here. And then the next after that's actually scary stories. And also, you might hear someone kind of singing in the background. My husband's playing on the guitar with headphones in, so he doesn't know that we can hear him if you can hear him. Oh, God, that's funny. Anyway, this one says, my dad's story, not mine. I had been walking for a couple hours, and I decided to sit under a tree for a while just to see what would happen. Okay. As I was relaxing, I noticed this light that kept flashing past my eyes. I looked over to see where it was coming from, but I couldn't see what was there. Then I looked down, and there was a red dot on my chest. Some asshole was using a laser sight and aiming it at me. I yelled at him and started walking towards him, but he ran off. I went back to camp for the rest of the day. He didn't think someone was actually trying to shoot him, but if people aren't going to be safe with their rifles, he didn't want to be out there. What? How is that? I mean, he could have one of those laser pointers that you use for your cat. Boo! Boo! Nightmare Files. I meant to send you a link for my microphone too. Remind me on Twitter. Send me a message and I'll send you the link to the. My microphone was literally $20 and it's great. Not the thing I'm using right now. It's my headset, but my actual microphone. That story was terrible. God, my dog could tell a scarier story than these people, right? Next one. We're almost done with these crap stories, and we'll get into the good ones. But these are entertaining me, and they're helping me unwind for. And I just heard my husband singing again. He can't hear. He doesn't know we can hear him. I don't know if you guys can hear it either. I don't know how much this microphone picks up. Anyways, I used to be a field appraiser. You might call it an assessor where you live, for a county in rural Kansas. I was at a parcel looking at data collection, some 20-foot shipping containers that had appeared in the last several months. It was obvious they were being used as hunting cabins during hunting season. As I was finishing up, I turned around to walk back to my vehicle, and standing right there were two hunters. They were dressed head to toe like snipers, with ghillie suits on, with large caliber rifles, pointed at me. Scared the shit out of me. Of course, they were mouthy and pissed off toward me. When they found out what I was doing, that escalated things even more. I don't blame them, really. They saw me walking around and measuring everything and taking photos of the place. And that's the end of the story. Boo! Oh, God. Terrible. Boo. Ugh. They're so bad. Last person on earth is lie. What arseholes. Mega boo. Boo. Let's get through these fast. All right. I missed this trip with my dad and his hunting buddy. So they were in a remote section of South. This better be good. They were in a remote section of southeastern Wyoming hunting for elk. Like any good elk hunter, they were up at 3:30 to stake out their spot and watch the herd patterns before daylight. As they were driving up to the spot, a figure appeared in their headlights and by their silhouette. It wasn't a hunter. What was a person doing walking down the road in complete darkness with no hunting gear? My dad was driving, so he slowed to a crawl in his truck, and his buddy prepared his sidearm, as this had foul play written all over it. When they could distinguish the figure in the headlights, they saw it was a girl in a tank top and underwear, wearing no shoes. They stopped and verbally checked her status out of the window, as there could have easily been someone staked out in the sagebrush, ready to ambush. When it was clear she was severely hypothermic and bleeding from her feet, they got out and let her in the truck cab. From there, it had to have been a terrifying experience for that girl. I sure wouldn't want to be with two middle-aged rednecks picking me up 40 miles from any town. They cranked up the heat full blast and drove her to a nearby country gas station, where they were regular customers there, and friends with the owner and his wife, who was a retired nurse. When the girl could finally articulate her words, she told them that she and her boyfriend drove out there to drink and have sex. when she started having a seizure during sex. He lost his temper, grabbed her shoes, and threw them into the stage. And when she got out of the car to find them, he peeled off, leaving her in near freezing temperatures in her skivvies. She estimated she walked about 4 miles on a dirt road before my dad found her. It's a good thing hunters start early, because she easily could have died. Holy shit, that's a 5. Oh my god, I hope that guy was prosecuted. What a dick. Ugh. That story probably could have used a lot more details, but at least it wasn't crap. Yeah. This better be good on this list. This is funny. I'm laughing because I'm reading back your comments, but you guys are just now getting the whole scape of the story. I know. What the hell? Some people are just crap. Mm. All right, let me see what this one is. Let's find out. Okay, so a couple years ago, I was in northern British Columbia on a fishing trip with my dad, uncles, cousins. The lake and river was a 2-hour drive from the nearest city. We were driving down the river, drifting down the river, drifting, when I needed to go to the bathroom, so I got out of the boat. As I'm doing my business, I look over and see what seems to be the top of a building. I turned to the people in the boat and told them what I saw, walked towards the buildings, and realized I wasn't alone. Multiple homes, buildings in the middle of the forest. It was a very small and isolated Native American tribe, and we backed away. Not super creepy, but didn't want to cause any trouble. We continued on without any contact. That one's just cool. Is there still actual tribes out there that get to just live their lives? That's awesome. Like, people still think they're just going to get attacked for no reason. Trying to wake up an old man you don't know with a 357 to your head while camping alone. Yikes. Checking statuses. Just a second here. Okay, everything seems to be okay. Chaos is at a calm, so I'm sure everything will be more chaotic just about when I'm about to drift off to sleep tonight. I can barely conjugate a sentence now, so it should be really interesting when I'm trying to talk later. All right, here's the next one. There's only a couple more of these, and then we're going to get to the actual scary stories, so I'm excited about those ones. There's a place near where I come from that has all the hallmarks of an excellent hunting area. Nobody goes there because there's a stand of giant Douglas fir trees that are at least 300 years old, and there are boots hanging by their laces, dozens of pairs, all hung up in the very top branches of the trees. It's practically impossible for a human being to have done this, and nobody has a reasonable explanation for it. Even the most seasoned hunters will tell you to stay the hell away from there. Oh, that was short, but just, are you picturing this? A 300, just fathom how tall a 300-year-old tree is. A giant Douglas fir tree that's 300 years old. We had a 50-year-old pine tree in our front yard, and it was twice the height of our house. And we had to cut it down. It was kind of ruining our roof. I can't imagine how tall those. So how would they get? Yeah, I think that's like probably would be something like people would claim that to be Sasquatch stuff, right? I don't know. What do you guys think of that one? I'm just picturing the scene. That's what creeped me out. Like, wandering into that area and thinking, this is a great spot. And then looking up and trying to wrap your head around what you're looking at. And then the feeling of being standing in that clearing like that. Yikes. Mm, Am I missing something? Who stole a gun from someone? I didn't see anything where somebody stole a gun from someone. Did I just totally forget what we were talking about here? Hmm. All right. All right. I'm trying to figure out the chat here where you guys are at with your listening. Long story short, he got his ass beat. What a crazy old man. Is this correct? These must be like way behind. He deserved it? Wait. Okay. He's telling his own personal story. I'm like, did I read something I totally forgot about now? Uh-oh. My friends. Hold on. Just a minute. Just give me a second here. If you're just joining us, I have a couple of family situations going on and I'm just monitoring them while I'm talking to you. Okay, yeah. So if you hear me typing, that's what I'm doing. Real quickly. Okay, here's the next one. I don't know. It looks a little lengthy, so please don't suck story. Frequent Colorado hunter here. If you go hunting or camping anywhere within a mile or 3 of any road, it's always spooky. And most of the scare can be attributed to other people doing stupid shit. But if you pack up and head in deep, past 10 or 12 miles from any road, then you find the spooky shit ends and the pleasant outdoors begins. People just won't go in that deep unless they're headed for a popular lake or peak. Even then, they won't stray much from the trail. If you're in that far back and you do happen to bump into someone, they're usually just another outdoor enthusiast like yourself who's paid the price to get away from the crowd, and you'll make a quick friend. But once, while hunting away, way back in, we found a camp, they put in parentheses, that seemed to be abandoned more than 5 or so years. But it was the location that was spooky. It made no sense. It wasn't by any game trails, water, or passes. It would be hard as hell to pack anything in there, and just difficult to go hike or to go for any reason. Um, there was no reason for it where it was other than to get completely lost and off the grid. And it was well stocked with carefully constructed shelters, tables, fireplace, and other amenities. The canned food we found was dated 5 years prior or more. And just the way the growth and trees had moved in, you could tell that no one had visited for years. Logs had been cut down and arranged all funny like in circles around the camp and fanning out for 30 or 40 yards. A lot of effort was put in that. There was also little wooden carved statues and carved symbols and shit everywhere. Some still hanging from branches. I've spent a lot of time in the outdoors and very little other than people will spook me. This spooked me, and how. We got out of there and promised to not hike that way again. We can find it on Google Earth, but you really can't pick anything out, and it makes me think it was planned that way. Trees for miles. There was no way to land an aircraft of any sorts. We thought maybe a growing farm, but there was no sign of a plant anywhere. Besides, it wouldn't be a good climate for it that high up. Okay, I don't know. Eh, meh, meh. We're almost done with this crap. Cows are awesome. Oh, you couldn't hear me type? Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, is it just me? I know the full moon was yesterday, but it seems like today, all the full moon crap is happening today. Ugh. I'm just glad to be at home, safe and sound, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself. They found an abandoned camp. Yeah, but it was 5 years abandoned. It was like someone literally was like airlifted out of there. They just left everything behind. They put great detail. Yeah, it was a super blood wolf moon. Like everything crazy all in one. Okay, let's get this over with so we can get to the good story. So I have 2 stories, this person says. First one, not so creepy. Oh, great. I was about 20 miles out in the back country on a week-long hunting trip by myself. Woke up in the middle of the night to hear a bear sticking its snout out in the fabric of my tent. I immediately started meditating to slow my breath and just weather the situation because I knew if I moved or made a run for my car, I'd be dead. The next morning, I found paw prints, and they were the biggest bear's prints I've ever seen. The second story is very creepy. It was deep in the woods this time, too. Set up camp in a very nice little ravine. When I woke up, there was a ring of big rocks around my camping area. They weren't even there when I got there to set up camp. I'm also a stout dude, and I couldn't move any of the rocks. I was raised in the woods, and now I refuse to go out there without a large caliber gun, and I refuse to sleep out in the woods anymore. Huh. I just want it to be over now. Let's get to the good stuff. Wah, wah, wah. What's a bug out location mean? Like they created a place to go in case something happens? But even their canned food was expired by 5 years. So they couldn't even eat any of the food. You know what I mean? Or does bug out mean like there's something below there? Was it all a distraction of something else? I don't know. Boring. Okay, yeah. Let's get to something else. We're just going to skip the last one because they all suck. All right. First one. These are, I don't know. This one kind of scared me. So I'll let you guys, you can still rate these ones, but I think these are definitely scarier than the other ones. If she's a hit the fan, they have somewhere to go. Huh. I don't know. I'm not eating anything that's been expired for 5 years. 5 years. Green beans aren't even beans anymore. They're just like green stuff in a can. Good luck. Story's better bit good. No pressure. No pressure on me. All right. Here's the first one. This one's called The Man in the Bunny Costume. When I was younger, I used to live by the woods and could see a cemetery from my back porch. One Easter, I remember waking up and seeing the Easter Bunny, one of those terrifying costumes. And what really gets me is I remember smelling wet hay. When I woke up, I didn't tell anyone, but there was an extra Easter egg in my house that my parents didn't hide. Years later, when I was in high school, I asked my parents if they ever dressed up like the Easter Bunny and came into our room. They said they would never through so much trouble. Then my younger sister, who I shared a bunk bed with when this happened, said she remembers the Easter Bunny came into our room, made a remark. Hold on, everyone. Sorry about that. I lost my place here. The Easter Bunny came into our room when they said they would never go to so much trouble. Then my younger sister, who I shared a bunk bed with when this happened, said she remembers when the Easter Bunny came into our room and made a remark about the hay smell. I was terrified that we both remembered seeing a person dressed as a bunny in our room. To make it even stranger, I told the friends I sat with at lunch what happened, and one of the girls was my neighbor across the street. She told me one Easter a long time ago she looked out her window during the night and saw the Easter Bunny standing in her driveway. I had chills. To this day, I'm terrified of people in rabbit costumes. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? Probably wouldn't have helped if I stopped halfway through. Dry beans, rice, flour. Hmm. What if all the stories suck? Then what? Wah, wah, wah. Let's get to the next one. All right. The ghost babysitter. So, when my niece was really young, she was in a bouncer at my sister's house. I was house sitting and babysitting. I had left her to go into the kitchen and grab some water. My sister's chocolate labs were probably sniffing and licking her head because I could hear her giggling like she was having a blast. I hadn't noticed how cold it had gotten, and that's when I heard it. A loud wooden snap, like a thick piece of wood had been snapped in half suddenly, or a tree was knocked over. I ran into the room, and what I saw and smelled freaked me out. The dogs were huddled in the corner, whimpering. My niece was staring at the ceiling corner with her eyes wide. It was cold, and it smelled like Stetson. I took her, and we decided to go to a different room. When my sister finally came home, I told her what happened. She just rolled her eyes and said, "Yeah, that's Hugh." I was confused. She said Hugh was the previous owner of the house who had died 10 years before his wife sold it. She said he likes to follow my niece around, and you can tell it's him because the dogs freak, it gets cold, and smells like cheap cologne. I don't believe in that shit, but I do believe that you get that feeling in your gut when something doesn't feel right. I mean, it's kind of a cool story. I don't even think it's scary. That's awesome. Wahee. What? You need your daily dose of horror. Well, I can just stop reading right now. That's fine. I haven't slept at all, and yeah. Bye. Stranger in the house. There's probably gonna be like 2 people left in a second, so that's cool. Stranger in the house. In college, I would go home every other weekend to work at the job I had since high school. I would drive directly from campus after my last class on Friday to my job, about an hour. And after my shift was done, I'd go back to my parents' house, which was out in the middle of nowhere. My parents weren't home yet when I got back from work. They often spend their Friday and Saturday evenings drinking, like they were the ones in college. So the house was dark. And since it was mid-fall, so was the yard, save for the yard light. I pull into my normal parking spot, get out of the car, and then turn and open the back door of my car, get my backpack out of the back seat. That's when I noticed that the bathroom light was on. Was that light on when I pulled up? It must have been, right? After I was contemplating the light and reaching for my backpack, there was suddenly a very angry-looking old woman standing in the window staring at me. We're not talking resting bitch face here either. She was pissed off at me, and I knew it. We stood there staring at each other for a good 10 seconds when my parents pulled into the driveway and distracted me from my own stare-down with the woman in the bathroom. By the time I turned back, the light was still on, but the woman was gone. I mean, it's still not scary, so I don't know. That wouldn't scare me. Would it scare you? When the dead walk the halls. So, I used to volunteer at a nursing home where we had several instances where new residents accurately described former residents down to specific nightgowns or color of glasses who I and the staff knew died in that room and complained about them coming into the room at night. Then once I was walking through the hallway and it was normally uncomfortably warm inside, but I felt a chill and goosebumps. One of the CNAs said I had just walked through a ghost. I couldn't get warm again for the rest of the day. There were flickering lights and TVs turning themselves on. Several of the staff were from the same Southeast Asian country, and they were talking about ghosts and disrespect for the dead so much that management had someone come in to do a candlelight ceremony, and this lady with crystals and dreadlocks came in to do a sage brushing. Things calmed down after that. Lights stayed on better, and the residents seemed calmer. I mean, I feel like you could have added a lot of details to that would have made it a lot scarier. Oh, the phantom hairdryer. I was in my sophomore year of high school. I'd usually get ready and then wait for my mother to drive me to school. While she was getting ready, I just was kind of hanging out in the bathroom with her while she was putting on makeup and curling her hair. She looked a little frazzled, and I asked if everything was okay. She told me about a weird occurrence the night before. She said she'd been woken up around 2 a.m. by a strange noise. Not super loud, but constant. My dad wasn't woken by it, though not surprising, he sleeps like a log. Anyway, she starts looking for the source of the noise. First checking the bathroom attached to their room. Nothing's there. She walks out in the hallway and hears the noise from the bathroom nearby. When she walks in, she sees a hairdryer plugged in and turned on, just sitting in the middle of the bath mat on the floor. She thinks it's strange, but there are 4 kids living in the house, and she thought that maybe someone had sleepwalked and turned it on. Whatever. She unplugs it, puts it away, goes back to bed, and eventually falls asleep. About an hour later, she wakes up again and hears the same noise. Now she's kind of pissed off and goes to check it out again. Except now the noise is coming from downstairs. She tracks it down into the guest bathroom in the main entry hall. Opens the door, and again, there's the hairdryer turned on, laying in the middle of the floor. Now she's freaked out by this point, but she unplugs it and puts it away. Didn't get a great night's sleep after that. So she's telling me this story, and as soon as she comes to the conclusion, we both just freeze, turn our heads into the walk-in closet of her bathroom, and as soon as we look in there, the entire light on the ceiling shatters. Not the light bulb, but the glass cover. It shatters, sending shards of glass everywhere. We freak out, get the hell out of there, and have no idea what to make of it. But we haven't really had any experiences before or since, and none of my family have experienced anything either. I mean, that has some potential to scare you. It's not scary enough to scare me, but I don't know, maybe it scared somebody else. I'd give it a 3. Legolas. It's probably Legolas. Oh, this must be way behind. Is this way behind? Oh. Meh. Wow. Okay. This one is short. It says, The Nightmares. I was the caretaker of a small uninhabited island off the coast of Maine, and my girlfriend and I started having synchronized nightmares about things we had never discussed before. They involved very specific themes, and after a month of this happening, we were gifted a history book of the island that had a small chapter in the back that mentioned the exact hauntings. Okay, what does that mean? These are getting on my nerves. I don't even know if I can continue. I'm so tired. It's exhausting and annoying. These suck. These suck. 0. Boo. Oh my goodness. They're just terrible. Ugh. I don't even know. I don't even like them. I need something else. We're gonna go dark. We're gonna go down the darkness rabbit hole here. So I saved something else earlier that I thought was scarier. So we're gonna read that instead because these suck. These suck ass. Oh my gosh. I have like so many bookmarks saved that you just have to like sit there and wait for it to go down the list. All right, let's see this one. This is 50 concerned parents on the creepiest words their demon child has ever spoken. These better be good. All right, let me see. Let's just read the first couple, and if they're good, we'll keep going. Number 1. When my oldest son was about 3, he said one night at bedtime, "Mommy, I like you better than my fake mommy." "Who's your fake mommy?" "He says you can't see her. She tucks me in after you do." Uh, Next one. My niece was about 4 when I heard her laughing in my room. Walked in and asked her what she was doing, and she said, "Chucky says if you stick your fingers in your eyes, they come out of your mouth." Then she told me Chucky lived underground. Still gives me chills. Picked him up from daycare when he was 3. Driving home, totally quiet. He's just staring out the window. Randomly says, "Hey, Dad, remember that time we died in a fire?" I mean, oh, I just felt something grab my arm after that noise I just made. But, I mean, my arm has, like, my arm does stuff on its own. Let's see this one. My 3-year-old daughter was going through the monsters under her bed phase. It lasted for weeks, and it was really wearing on her mom and I. So one night after Mom tried to put her to bed, she tagged me in. After 30 minutes, I grew pretty frustrated. In a last-ditch attempt, I promised my daughter that there weren't any monsters under her bed, and she replied, "I know, they're behind you." After that, I let her sleep with us for a week. I think these are more about the parents scaring the crap out of the kids. The scary kid stories are weird. And I think it's just because, hey, Brian, I think it's just because kids just say whatever comes into their head, and it can be totally misinterpreted by people that have no imagination left. You know what I mean? It's still scary, though. It's like you're super tired after a long day, try to put your kid to bed. Number 5 says, I heard the 1-year-old high chair move even though nobody was near it. I asked the 3-year-old, what was that? And he says, while pointing to the chair, what is she doing here? Oh, shit. And that gotta go. I would call the parents and say, I shit my pants and I need to go home. That's terrifying. Kids are stupid. Wow. Let's see. Number 6. He started refusing to go downstairs around age 3.5, terrified, saying there was an evil angel man down there that wanted to hurt the whole family. Consistently drew the same picture of said angel man too. Oh, that's creepy. And there's a picture to go along with the whole creepy ass person. That's, oh yeah. Number 7 says this was terrifying. When I was a teenager, I was babysitting for a family with 3 young children. The boy was 8. The girls were in kindergarten. Their parents had driven an hour away to see a play, but still planned to be home early in the night. However, I got a call that they had been in a minor car accident and would be home a couple hours later than planned. They asked several times how if the boy was sleeping, which should have been a red flag. But I simply said that all the children were sleeping and left it there. About an hour goes by, definitely nighttime now, and I'm sitting on a sofa downstairs looking through some old magazines to pass the time. Suddenly, I hear shuffling on the staircase. The boy was clearly sleepwalking, but his eyes were open and rolled back. He started running his hands along the wall, grabbing family pictures while screaming, "They all must go! They all must go!" before throwing the pictures down the stairs. Once I overcame a moment of sheer panic, I rushed up the stairs and tried to grab him. Once I'm about half a foot away from him, he starts screaming, "If you touch me! If you touch me, you die!" Followed by manic laughter. Oh my God, I've got chills. By this point, the sound of crashing glass and screaming has woken up the girls, and I can hear them crying. Totally freaked out, but still focused on keeping the kid from falling down the stairs. I grabbed the boy by the back of his pajamas and lead him back up the rest of the stairs toward his room. When we get to his doorway, he calmly walks to his bed and gets back in as if nothing has happened. I go over to his bed. He's perfectly sound asleep. I can still hear the girls crying, so I rush into their room. They're huddled together in the back corner crying. I say, "Oh, no, it's okay. Your brother's okay. He's just sleepwalking. He's fine." One of the little girls looks at me and says, "We know he can't help it. Simon makes him do it." That was the last straw for me. I didn't ask any more questions. Brought the girls downstairs with me, gave them milk and cookies, turned on the radio, and turned on every single fucking light. Parents walk in, know immediately what happened, never babysat for that family again. They should never have a babysitter. That's fucking terrifying. No fucking way. Oh my God. Oh, that's fucking terrifying. People like that should never send some innocent kid over to their fucking house to babysit. Like, if you have a kid like that and you're listening to this, just know you don't get to have a babysitter anymore. Your kid is a monster. That's your life sentence now. Yep. Number 8. My oldest kid kept talking in his bed past bedtime. When he asked him who he was talking to, he said he was talking to the floating white lady. I don't remember the exact description he gave us, but what I do remember is kid number 3 doing the same fucking routine 8 years later. Ugh. Whew, that would make you pee a little when you're putting your kid to bed and they say the same thing and it's a totally different kid 8 years later. Number 9. My 3-year-old grandson has babbled about plane crashes since he started talking. He would reenact with toys, plane chasing one another, and as the first suddenly dropped to the ground, he'd yell in a heart-rending scream, "Oh no, we crashed!" And this was his first sentence. He did this over and over. Early this summer, he's 3, and I'm reading him a bedtime story. I pause, look up at him, and he says to me, "Granny, I was a pilot. My plane was the Kitty Hawk. I crashed into the water when they shot it off my wing and shot it off my face. It almost stopped my fucking heart." He looked so troubled and sad. I told him that he had done his best. I was very proud of him, and that he was just a little boy now and needed not to worry about that, but if he wanted to talk about it, he could any time, and I hugged him. I researched Kitty Hawks. They were used by almost every country in early World War II. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy, but cool. Like, wow. Hello, Arthur Valdez. Hello. Wow. Wow. All right, so number 10. Not a parent, but when my little brother was 4 and I was like 18, we were playing with Hot Wheels. He just started singing the alphabet song, which is normal for kids to start singing at random times. But he had a twist to it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Everyone is dead. I just looked at him for a moment and then just kept playing with cars. Kids are weird, man. That one was kind of funny, but it was fucking scary. Number 11 is my son 7, dreamily and out of nowhere says, Today's the day I'm going to die. I say, what? He says, oh no, Mom, don't worry, not today, but on this date some other year. The fuck? Oh, okay. And that, folks, is why you always have an extra snack packed in your purse when you take your kid somewhere. Oh my goodness. What the hell? All right, number 12. When my cousin was a kid, there was a doll at a toy shop that she longed for months. She was a fabric doll with a painted face, had red hair made from yarn, green printed dress. She got the doll for Christmas, and fairly soon after had a dream that the doll was laughing and pulling out her toenails. She was so freaked out that she got rid of the doll. A couple of months ago, my cousin's 8-year-old son came to her after a nightmare about a mean doll, described my cousin's doll exactly. Whoa! Ew, that one gave me chills because I immediately think of Annabelle. Yikes. Ew. Ew. Yeah. All right. 13. When my daughter was little, she was crying and went back to check on her. She said she couldn't get the picture to go away. I said, what picture? She pointed to an empty spot on the rug. I asked her what it was a picture of. She said, it was my car on fire. I was leaving for a long road trip a couple days later. I never drove so carefully in my life. No shit. The more you know by your terrified kids. Holy shit. No, I have one. I have a Raggedy Ann doll in my house. It's downstairs. All right. Number 14. We'll see how far I get into this before I completely can't talk anymore. All right. Number 14. One night my husband had gone out with friends, and I had settled down for some Netflix after the kids went to bed. My son got up and walked past the bathroom where I was sitting and then stopped. He had dead eyes. I asked him if he was okay. Did he need the bathroom? Did he have a bad dream? And although he turned his face toward me, he didn't answer, and his expression didn't change. It was like he was possessed or zombified. Ooh, I've got chills and I don't even know what's going to happen next. I led him into the bathroom. He followed me easy enough, but just stood by the toilet. Told him to go to the bathroom. Told him to go pee, like he couldn't figure out on his own. He would follow direct orders but not answer questions. Wouldn't talk at all, and had a dead expression the entire time. I was getting more and more frantic, trying to get him to respond to me or show that he could hear me. I called to my husband and told him he needed to come home. Something wasn't right. Sat on the side of the tub panicking and almost crying, and he just stood there and watched me impassionately. After about 15 minutes, he tilted his head, and blood started running out of his nose and down his face. No reaction out of him at all. I grabbed a handful of toilet paper, shoved it under his nose, and told him to hold it. He did, blank-faced. I picked up my phone to call 911. Before I was done dialing, my son said, Mom, what's going on? It was so unexpected, and my tensions were so high, I jumped and almost screamed. Told me he was having a nosebleed. He said he didn't remember anything at all. Asleep in his bed, and woke up in the bathroom, and his mom was crying as his nose was bleeding. That was the day I realized my kid was a sleepwalker, and I was a total wimp of a mom. Oh. I had a Raggedy Ann doll as a kid too. My daughter gave me one for Christmas one year because she knew that. Number 15. My daughter was in the back seat looking out the window and just calmly says, Mommy, look at all the people. She was pointing at a cemetery that just had plaques. No headstones. They were flat stones in the ground. So it looks like just like a pretty field. She was 2, and there wasn't a living soul around for miles. I just turned on the radio and acted like everything was fine. It wasn't. That'd be fucking scary. My 2 middle kids say that when we lived in the second house I bought, they would hear a voice faintly calling their names almost nightly. Oh, holy crap. See ya, Smokey. Yikes. Number 16. Not necessarily what the kid did, but heard him scream horribly loud on the monitor. My girl said that there's a black figure standing over his bed. I jump up, and as soon as I do, the basement door flung open. My dog freaked the fuck out running. I ran upstairs, grabbed my son, and we stayed at my mom's. My fiance had an existential crisis because she now believes in ghosts. Funny enough, I knew the family and dude who died in our house, so I went to the attic and found suitcases right above my son's room with the guy who died. Dead son's things were there. Me and my cousin grabbed them, returned the items to the dead son's old wife. Did an exorcism, and all sorts of weird shit happened. We recorded it and got video of his camera and mount getting ripped off the counter. The stand held going 100 miles an hour on the outside of a car and wouldn't come loose unless a tab was pulled. On top of that, batteries died 20 times faster than they should have. Although after we did that, Rex, the dead owner's dead son, never came back. Turns out Rex was a real dick in life, so scaring my kid wasn't out of the question. That's I've never heard someone talk about a dead person that they didn't know like that. It's funny. Rex was a real dick in life. Oh my god. Number 17. Not my kid, but it was my friend's place for cookout. His son opened the sliding glass door, tapped on the side of the house, and said, "I'm going to burn this down." Then casually walked inside and shut the door. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was just like, what did he just say? I'm going to burn this place down. Wow. I would question what are these guys watching? It's like they're trying to be their own comedians. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. Number 18 is pretty short. It says, my cousin's kid, middle of the night, got dad's hunting knife out, stabbed the leather couch over 50 times. He's 5. Okay, first of all, how did he have access to that knife? That's the number 1 question. The second is the obvious one. Anyways, number 19. My 1-year-old will point to a spot on the ceiling and say, "Aw," make grabby hands toward it, and then begin tracking whatever it is she sees and blowing kisses at it. I'm pretty sure it's Satan. Nothing good lives on the ceiling. That one's just funny. Number 20 says, I used to say things my grandfather used to say a lot, like yelling out in German at our dog. My grandfather died years before I was born. That one was short, but whatever. Number 21, driving with my then 3-year-old cousin. Out of nowhere, she screamed, "Oh my God." I asked her what was wrong, and she said it was the apocalypse. I don't know who taught her that. Apocalypse. 22. Found a picture of a lady in a fancy white hat on a walk. 6-year-old declared the lady was dead. She then said we should find the grave, dig up the body, and wear her skin. We could use the skeleton for Halloween decorations. Yeah, started out not so gross. 23 says, I'm not a parent but a nanny. This was over a year ago. I asked my 3-year-old boy Charge to do something simple. clean up a toy or throw out a napkin or something, which he does a dozen times a day. He shakes his head, and I remind him about cleaning up after ourselves. He says, I can't. The man in the floors says no. I got a little chill and asked him what he meant. He pointed at a heating cooling vent on the floor and said, You can't make me do it. It never came up again. So far, no man in any of the floors or vents. Yikes. Oh, my God. I think we're going to do two more. I'm not going to make it all the way. Number 24. Not a parent, but one time my brother at around age 6 or 7, he's 10 now, mentioned an old apartment we used to live in years before he was born. I asked him how he knew about it, and he said, Before I was born, Jesus showed me and said, This is going to be your future family. Our family community isn't religious at all. That's crazy. Number 25. Not my child, but my granddaughter, 7 years old at the time, grabbed my face, looked me in the eyes, and said, I love you so much I want to cut off your head and put it in my backpack so you'll always be with me. After that, I explained to her that she couldn't do that because I would die, and she said, Oh well, that's life. She's 13 now. My head is luckily still attached to my body, so I'm good so far. I've asked her if she remembers saying that to me. She doesn't, and thought it was a horrible thing to say. I agree. Holy shit. Okay. I think I have hit my wall, people. And that's only because I got about 3 hours of sleep last night, which I was doing okay earlier today, but whew, yeah, not doing fine now. Oh, yeah. I could try to read you more, but it's just gonna be like me stuttering and gibbering gibberish. I can't process thoughts anymore. They're just gone. I've hit my wall. I've hit my wall, and any entertainment purposes I served are just wafting away with the hours and minutes of this day. So hopefully next time we'll have some better stories than that. Boo! Stay up later. Yeah, let's see how long I can go before I snap. I like sleep. I enjoy sleep. I plan on doing a lot of more talking about. I should do like a whole video series, not just a live stream, but a video series on the dreams I had. Like, not last night, but the night before. I had a dream that my husband and I, well, actually, our whole family, I think, went to Disney. But as soon as we got there, someone drugged him and I. We got separated, lost. I lost my phone, all my credit cards, ended up on a boat with strangers and almost fell in the water like at nighttime. And I couldn't figure out who I was, or no one knew who I was, and I was lost. My husband and my stepson found me the next morning, and we're walking down like this busy street that looked like a street from here. And my stepson's like all of a sudden really far ahead of us, and for some reason he had his mom's dog with us, and he turned around and said the dog's name and yelled no. And I looked down, and the dog had been hit by a car, and there was blood everywhere, and it was like the whole dream was fucked up. Like usually I can have like a kind of okay dream that ends fucked up, but the whole dream was fucked up. But yeah. I don't know if everybody else has dreams like that. Does everybody else have dreams like that? My daughter has dreams like that too now. I don't think that's a blessing. It's kind of like your brain is your like your own terrorist, if that makes sense. I don't know if they're cool because it doesn't feel cool. Um, was it last week or the week before? I had a dream that my daughter died, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get to the funeral, and I woke up and cried for like 20 minutes. I think I told you guys that before, though. I'm tired, so I'm repeating myself, but so I don't know. They're really, really. Hey, Kingston, hello. We're wrapping it up, but you can go back and hear us. We were making fun of the stories I found because they sucked so much. So I don't know if you want to go back and listen to them or not. Um, but yeah, I've had just a few hours of sleep and I have hit my wall. Um, just slammed right up against that wall. But yeah, but I think it would still be interesting. Like, I think it would still be interesting video or whatever for you guys to hear. If I could figure out a way to, I wish I was a faster like drawer because I feel like it would take years to make little drawings to go along with the. Maybe I could find like pictures on the internet to go along with the story. So, anyways, I'm rambling now, and I could literally ramble on for 2 hours. Don't listen, Tara. Shh, shh. Maybe he wants to listen to terrible stories. Shh. Um, when my anxiety is high and I have very vivid dreams. You know what's weird is when I have dreams like that, there's often, I mean, lately there's been a lot of stress, but there's often no precursor to the dreams. I just wake up and tell my husband about him. He's always like, "What?" And he's jealous because he doesn't really have a lot of dreams. But anyways, we're gonna cut this off before I start talking about how socks are made, and then we go down a rabbit hole of how there's laborers that get paid 10 cents an hour to make those socks. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me. There will be a story Wednesday because the Schmeister wrote not one, but two more parts. Well, I have one sitting in front of me. Part 2, The Monsters Live Among Us. Yeah. So that'll be up Wednesday. And it's a nice chunky story. I think it's going to be cool. So thank you guys. Thank you. You guys have a good night and see you guys on Wednesday for Monsters Live Among Us Part 2. And if you're new here and you don't know how we say goodbye, we have a little nod to our famous American family here in the States, the Kardashians. And we just say, bye. Bye. Happy Wednesday. Or it's happy Monday. I'm so tired. Bye. Bye.